Hello, my creative friends. Today is Earth Day, and in honor of Earth Day, I thought I would make a one-layer card using this stamp set, Lovely as a Tree. It's brand new to me. I just took this one out to make my card, and I'll also be using wordplay. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that my style is not typically to make one-layer cards, but I've found that they go through the mail much easier, so I'm going to give it a try. But I'm also going to show you a stepped-up version. And, you know, that kind of works with Earth Day because it's an upcycle, recycle. One of the things I love about stamps, you use them over and over and over again. And if you take care of your ink pads, you can use them over and over again as well. So let's get started. The first step for my card will be to make a mask. Now, usually when I make a mask, I'll just take my Post-it note and I'll punch out a shape, or maybe I'll rip it. But I needed a bigger space for this particular mask. And you could still do the same thing. You could rip it and take and use just little bits and pieces. Or if you had a really big Post-it, you could use that. But I don't have a big Post-it. So instead, I'm going to make my own mask, just using regular old printer copy paper. This is one that was headed for the trash bin, so another good recycle use. I'm just taking my paper piercing tool and I'm using it to kind of trace a free-form rectangle in the center of my rectangle. I cut this to my card base size, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And you don't need to pierce it. I'm just using it as kind of a guide. And then I'm going to go from corner to corner and corner to corner and just trace out an X. And what that does, it makes it just a little bit easier to see where I want to cut and tear. And then if you don't pierce all the way through, just take your scissors and cut those lines that crisscross just to the corners. And then I'm going to tear off each of these triangles I've now cut. And the goal is to not have it be straight so much as to get a torn edge look. And that's pretty straight, but oh well, what are you gonna do? So just tear all those pieces out. Now that you've torn your mask, it's time to make it sticky. Take another piece of scrap paper. Don't you love it? We're reusing over and over again. And I'm flipping it over because this side's just a little bit smoother. I'm going to take my two-way glue pen and just go all around that cut edge, or that torn edge, with my two-way glue. If you stick the glue down while it's still wet, you can see it's blue when it goes on. Hopefully you can see it's blue when it goes on. It will adhere. Once it dries clear, and it becomes kind of like a Post-it note sticky. It's a reusable sticky you can use over and over and over again. If your two-way glue pen is brand new, in order to get it flowing, you just press that tip all the way in and you'll see the glue come down. You want to make sure it's not glued to the piece underneath it, and then just set it aside and let it dry. I've got another one ready to go. When the glue is dry, it will stick to our card front. I've just got a standard size card here. It's 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I've scored it at 4 1/4. I don't know if you can see the score line. But I did score it. I'm not going to fold it quite yet. I'm going to wait until after I am done with my inking on the front. So I'm just going to take the sticky side, put it down, center it as best I can on my paper. After you stick it down, just use your finger and run it across to make sure you've got good contact with your cardstock. The first color I'm going to mask with is River Rock, and River Rock is one of those colors that at first I thought I hated, But it kind of grew on me, and I like it because it does pick up the colors around it. It's a creamy color. It's really nice when it's stamped on. But it is also on the retiring list, so it's a good one to use up before it retires. I'm just going to take my sponge. I take my sponges, it comes in a big wheel, and I just cut them into wedges. So just take a little bit, and I'm going to rub it here just to see if I've got good coverage. This is going to be my middle color. So I'm just going to start off the side and work my way into the middle. Start off on the side and work my way into the middle. The next color I'm going to use is Always Artichoke. And same thing, I'm just going to come in from the side, swirl my way into the center. I'm blending this up just a little bit into the river rock, and now I'm going to take Marina Mist, do the top part, and blend it down into the river rock. Peel away your mask. You can see how easily it's coming up. And there you have it. Isn't that cool? I'm going to take chocolate chip and this image right here from Lovely as a Tree, ink up my tree, and my goal is to stamp, oops, I'm out of frame. My goal is to stamp it on this section, but also just a little bit off onto the white. Just like that. Now I'm going to take You're in My Thoughts, You're in My Hearts. This is from Wordplay. And again, I'm going to ink it up in the chocolate chip ink and stamp. Just like that, we've got a beautiful one-layer card. This is great for mailing, but it's still beautiful, lovely. I'm going to take this same design and step it up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my mask, I'm going to ink up my layer, and then show you what I'm going to do next. If you pull away your mask and there's a little bit of sticky residue, this works really, really well at removing it. You just erase it and it comes right off. Okay, as you can see, I've got my second piece done. This is just a little bit smaller than a card front size. And now I'm going to take this scrap of, what's it called? Always Artichoke? Yeah, Always Artichoke. And I'm just going to tear it. And then I'm going to rough it up a bit. Alright, my piece is just a little bit too high up here, so I'm going to tear it down just a little bit more. You're just going to put adhesive on the back. You could use your sticky strip or your snail or your two-way glue or your Tombow glue. I happen to have some score tape here. It's similar to the red sticky tape. And I'm just going to start in the corner, and as I put it on, I'm mushing it and moving it so that it's not just a flat piece. It's got some dimension to it. Okay, smoosh down like that. Now I'm going to just take a little piece of this natural trim ribbon, and I'm going to cut it just a little bit longer than my edge here. I want the end to be frayed, so I'm just pulling out some of these threads here to have a frayed edge at the end. I'm just going to take a little bit more up. My score tape is done. Pull out my sticky strip, and I want a piece smaller than my trim. In fact, that's probably longer than I really meant for it to be, but that's okay. Mostly I just want to leave the end without any sticky on it. I'm going to peel this off. I think I want it to go about like that. I'm just going to wrap this around to the back. And that'll stay on, but it'll also have a little bit of movement there. Now I'm going to take my linen thread and thread it through the button. I'm going to use a couple of glue dots to hold it in place. And I find it's much easier to tie your knot if you already have it attached to your paper backing. So just tie it in a knot or a bow, a double knot, whatever you want. And trim off your excess. I'm going to pull in my River Rock card base. So this is the same as this card base. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored in half at 4 1/4. Then fold and use your bone folder to get that nice crisp crease. And I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. And adhere it to your card front. 2 cards, both fairly clean and simple. This is my 1-layer card. And this card, which is just stepped up and popped up a little bit, still works for an Earth Day card. I reused my stamp sets, my ink, and my sponges. I used scraps of paper here. I reused my mask. And I just used a little bit of trim on the outside for a little bit of extra. I hope this technique has been fun for you and maybe you learned something new. I hope you get some time today to get a little bit creative. Thank you for joining me. Bye.